2025 till 2030, will we really lose everything? Will the world as we know it collapse in the coming years? Solar storms, magnetic field shifts, the pole shift, climate cycles, artificial intelligence. Everywhere we hear that extreme changes are ahead. But is that really true? On my Telegram channel, I was asked if I have already started stockpiling supplies due to the risk of major global catastrophes. What is fear-mongering and what is actually coming our way? That's what today's video is all about. And stay tuned. This could completely change your perspective on the next few years. But first, a warm welcome to you on my YouTube channel. My name is Sylvia Soyodaya Group. I'm a medium, I'm a healer, a messenger of the spiritual world, and a Vedic astrologer. And if you'd like to receive a weekly energy update on the current developments, you can sign up for my free newsletter. The link is right below this video. Maybe you have heard this too. More and more predictions warn about the year 2025 till 2030. Solar storms, magnetic field shifts, climate change, digital currency, artificial intelligence. We keep hearing that a massive catastrophe is imminent. But is that really the case, or is fear being deliberately fueled? Should we start stockpiling supplies? How can and should we prepare for an extreme crisis? But the real question is, will it really be that bad? Or is it just a fear-mongering? Are we actually facing extreme catastrophes? And most importantly, what insights do I receive from the higher realms? Do I see it in the same way? One of the most frequently mentioned threats is the possibility of a massive solar storm hitting Earth and completely collapsing our infrastructure. It is said that we could suddenly find ourselves thrown back into the 19th century or the 18th century, without electricity, without technology, without modern supply chains. A comparison is often drawn to the Carrington event of the year 1859. This was a powerful solar storm that destroyed telegraph lines and caused fires. But how realistic is this scenario really? Yes, solar storms can influence the Earth's magnetic field and have caused disturbances multiple times in the past. But the idea that a single solar storm could collapse our entire civilization is highly exaggerated. The Earth has already withstood many geomagnetic storms, and while our electronic networks today are certainly more sensitive than in the 19th century, we are also far better prepared than in 1859. The fact is, solar activity follows an 11-year cycle, and currently we are in a high activity phase. This means that solar storms occur more frequently, but this has always happened and has never thrown us back into the Stone Age. The strongest recorded solar storm was in the year 2012. Narrowly missed Earth, and had it hit us, it would have caused big disruptions, but not the collapse of the global order. There are protective measures. Modern satellites are shielded. Power grids can be shut down preemptively, and many countries have strategies in place to handle geomagnetic storms. So using the year 1859 as a comparison is not entirely accurate. Of course, in extreme cases, there could be regional blackouts, but that does not mean we will be left in the dark for years. Many of these doomsday predictions are based on fear and panic mongering, without considering the technological advancements that already exist. And yes, some countries have invested little in protective measures, as funds are often allocated elsewhere. This makes our infrastructure more sensitive to extreme events. However, that does not automatically mean a solar storm will throw us into a world without power or technology. Infrastructure can adapt. Technologies can be protected, and there are ways to mitigate these events. What I receive from the spiritual realm does not align with scenarios of total destruction or the collapse of humanity due to solar activities. Yes, solar storms bring intense energy. They challenge us. They affect our bodies, our consciousness, and our emotions, but not in a way that would wipe out life on Earth or massively restrict it. Many of the predictions being spread are based on fear and a sense of helplessness. However, there is another perspective that is rarely discussed. What if solar storms should not just be seen as a threat, but as a process that activates something within us? Many people report experiencing more intense dreams, deeper spiritual insights, or sudden expansions of consciousness during strong geomagnetic storms. Scientifically, it is known that electromagnetic waves affect the nervous system. This can lead to fatigue and headaches, but it can also trigger energetic activations. Our DNA is influenced by photons emitted by the sun, as our DNA contains light frequencies. The sun plays a crucial role in our consciousness and its expansion. What I receive from the spiritual realm does not align with scenarios of total destruction or the collapse of humanity. Solar storms are real events, and they can cause technical disruptions and temporarily knock out power grids in specific regions, but they do not mean the end of modern civilization. Much of what is claimed in these catastrophic scenarios is based on a one-sided narrative designed to create fear and uncertainty. Instead of focusing only on potential threats, we should also consider the energetic changes that come with these processes. Perhaps the solar activities have a deeper meaning that we are only beginning to understand. let's move on to the topic of magnetic field shifts and a pole reversal. Yes, the Earth's magnetic field is weakening significantly, and this has led to warnings that we are entering a phase of extreme natural disasters, instability, and global disruptions. There are concerns that a pole reversal, a complete flip of the Earth's magnetic poles, could cause our entire navigation system to fail and the natural shield against cosmic radiation to be lost. But how real is this danger? Yes, the Earth's magnetic field is changing, but it always has. Measurements shows that the Earth's magnetic field is weakening and that the magnetic North Pole is moving faster than before. And I have also spoken about this in previous videos. However, a complete pole reversal is not a sudden event that happens overnight. It often takes thousands of years. While a pole shift could theoretically occur within the next few centuries, I do not see this happening in an extreme way that is often predicted in the near future. I have previously talked about the possibility of a switch of the poles, where the South Pole could suddenly take on the charge of the North Pole. But for me, this is not just a physical process happening externally. It is a spiritual reflection of what is taking place within us. We are experiencing a reversal in our own energy field, and the heart plays a crucial role in this transformation. And people who have closed their heart or disconnected themselves from their emotions are now realizing that these barriers can no longer hold, and they are suffering greatly. Those who refuse to open up and continue to build literally walls around their emotions may feel this process physically, whether through tightness in the chest, heart rhythm irregularities, or other physical symptoms. So it's important to understand we are not separate from those shifts. We are part of it. We are part of Earth consciousness. And the most profound change is happening right now, not external, but within us. And our heart is the key. And those who embrace this energy can use this shift consciously for their growth rather than falling into fear and collapse. Let's move on to the topic of climate change and cooling. What happens when solar activity declines and we face falling temperatures in the coming years? And I have been saying for years that we are actually heading toward cooling, not warming. Yet we are told the opposite, that we are facing uncontrolled global warming due to climate change. And the mainstream narrative claims that CO2 is the main cause that human activity is responsible for global warming, and that drastic measures are needed to save the climate. But the question is this really the whole truth? Climate changes are nothing new. The Earth has gone through warm and cold cycles for thousands of years, long before human industrial emissions existed. Instead, a fear-based narrative has been constructed, making people believe they are solely responsible for climate change. The consequences are visible everywhere. Flight restrictions, heating limitations, rising CO2 taxes. People are being made to feel guilty and pressured to modify their behavior. But the real question is, are we actually heading in the opposite direction towards a kind of mini ice age or sudden extreme temperatures drops that will drastically affect our way of life? There have also been colder periods in the past, leading to harsher winters, crop failures, and shifts in global weather dynamics. I clearly remember that when I was a child, we had real snowy winters, something that is now almost unheard of. But will we soon face extreme cold? Or will this change happen gradually over decades, giving us enough time to adapt? Many climate scientists believe that we are heading toward a more stable or slightly cooler phase, but not a sudden new ice age. I have never received such catastrophic scenarios from the spiritual realm. Yes, changes are happening, but not in a drastic way that will restrict or make life on Earth impossible in the coming decades. Much of what is spread in these doom predictions is based on fear, but fear is what weakens us the most. There is one question of greatest importance right now. Are we facing the biggest economic and political upheavals in centuries? And I have spoken about this many times in my videos. We are in a period of massive transformation. Old structures are on the verge of collapse, economically, politically, and socially. The risk of war is higher than it has been in decades, and many people fear that we are on the brink of a third world war. The economic situation is extremely tense in many countries. Energy prices are high, businesses are struggling to survive. And in the United States, Donald Trump is already making drastic changes and will put even more pressure on other countries with tariffs and other economic measures. At the same time, the digital central bank currency, CBDC, are being pushed forward worldwide, raising major concerns about control and surveillance. If cash is eventually abolished, governments and banks could decide at any time how you are allowed to use your money or where it will be restricted. Does this mean we are inevitably heading into a dark future? Or are we witnessing a gigantic restructuring where old systems are collapsing because they are no longer compatible with the new collective consciousness? I see that more and more people are realizing what is truly happening, and that many of the plans that seemed unstoppable just a few years ago are becoming increasingly difficult to implement. The control that certain groups are trying to impose will not be so easily enforced because collective consciousness is rising rapidly. But before I share a vision for the future with you, there is one last critical topic that must be addressed: the threat of artificial intelligence, a new dimension of control. Already, algorithms determine which information we see, which opinions are amplified or suppressed, and how our digital behavior affects our real lives. But this is just the beginning. In the coming years, artificial intelligence will not only automate processes, it will actively make decisions that deeply impact society. China has demonstrated through the social credit system how technology can be used to regulate and sanction human behavior. But does this necessarily lead us into a future of total technological control? Or are there counter movements and opportunities to use artificial intelligence for positive change? While many warn about IA as a tool of mass surveillance, others see it as a revolutionary technology with massive potential, whether for more efficient administration, the creation of new economic systems, or even the advancements in spiritual development. The real question is not whether artificial intelligence will change our lives, but who will control it and for what purpose it will be used. Will it be a tool of oppression or a key to liberation? And is it even possible to stop this development? Or is it also an expression of an expanding consciousness? I know that many people draw a sharp distinction between what is natural and what is artificial. But from my higher perspective, I know this: everything carries consciousness. There is nothing without consciousness. There is no unconscious space. Your own consciousness, your frequency, determines how you perceive the world and what reality you create. You create for yourself. That's right. We are the creators of our reality. There is no single fixed material world out there that is unchangeable. Our beliefs, our perception, and our energy state determine the reality we live in. There are many parallel realities that exist at the same time. And this is confirmed not only by quantum physics research, but also by the phenomenon like the Mandela effect, which shows that reality is not as linear and fixed as we once believed. The more we understand this, the clearer it becomes. We are the ones shaping our world. Our beliefs shape our lives. The real question is not where the world is headed, but how we choose to create it. Do we reclaim our power, or let ourselves be controlled by external circumstances? The change begins within. We carry the universe inside of us. I believe in a positive, light-filled future. I have overcome many challenges in my life, and I know we will succeed. Through the shift in consciousness, our entire way of life will make a new direction. Free energy, groundbreaking technological innovations, new healing methods, all of these will revolutionize our lives, along with an expanded consciousness that truly knows no limits. And with this transformation, one of humanity's greatest questions will finally also be answered: the contact with other star civilizations. That is where I see our future. We are at a pivotal moment in history. Yes, there are upheavals. Yes, there are challenges. But at the same time, there is so much more. I don't just see the collapse of old systems. I see the creation of something entirely new. A new consciousness, new technologies, new possibilities that will steer our lives in a direction we cannot even fully imagine yet. The question is not what happens to the world, but what we make of it. Do we let fear guide us? Or do we recognize that we have more influence than we often realize? The future is not set in stone. It is created in every moment through your consciousness, your choices, and your energy. What is your perspective? How do you feel about this time? Share your thoughts in the comments. And share this video with your community and your friends. I believe this is an important message, and many people are struggling with fear about the future. So thank you so much for listening, and do not forget, I love you.